Hello students, my name is Shayan Mitra. I am the faculty member of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. Today I am going to take in the class of embedded system, and in this lecture or 4 lecture that we have already have this is the continuation of the previous lecture, which we will discuss and describe all about the module number 6, where we have considered the programming concept and the embedded programming in C, C++ and Java, that in the module number 6. So this is the lecture number 23. In this lecture number 22 we have discussed about different kind of development tools that we use to construct the whole functionality of the embedded system, how it works, what is the specific architecture that we have already discussed. So we just give a brief overview of the embedded system architecture, and this specific lecture we're only going to discuss about the programming language on C and C++. Okay, how it applicable to the embedded system. Okay, so let's begin with the lecture. Okay, another thing, the code name is, the subject code name is EC704B. Okay, so let's begin with the lecture. Okay, so let's begin with in this specific page what you have here is what is a programming language. What is a programming language? It basically an artificial language designed to communicate instruction to a machine, particularly a computer. It can be used to create programs that control the behavior of a machine and or to express algorithm precisely. It basically means, suppose we have a specific hardware, we need to perform a specific function through that specific hardware. So we need to have a specific instruction set that could be fed into that embedded system. So that specific algorithm or the specific code or the specific instruction that is needed to be fed into the specific embedded system, we use programming language. Now that's why it is known as the artificial language. Basically the machine code that is going to be fed in the hardware, it basically in the combination of 0, 1 and 0, but the code that we use to write is basically in the form on the languages which can be understandable for human beings, those who will write those specific code. So those code will be written in the form or in the language which human beings can understand, but after that, using the assembler and compiler, those will convert into the specific machine code or machine language which only the machines will understand. Okay, so the next point here, there's thousands of different programming languages have been created mainly in the computer field, with many more being created every year. So each and every year we have already from our specific knowledge, we already know that there are various numbers of programming languages such as C, C++, Pascal, Fortran, Java, Python, R. There are different new n numbers of application that is needed to be that needed different kind of languages, and we have platform independent languages, platform dependent languages such as C or Java are platform dependent language, and such as Python is basically a platform independent language. So as the time passes by, the use or the what would say the popularity of the high level language such as Python, R is increasing. Okay, so these are the specific points. Let's go to the next page. Here these are the design language flow, these are the compiler. We have already discussed how it works practically. So we use the software flow. Here is the language, then the compiler, from that we go to the assemble. We use the assembly in from the assembly language. From that assembly language we use the assembler to convert it to the machine language. The same for hardware flow, we have synthesizer and go to the gate level flow. Gate level means the MOSFET and the FET, those are used to design the whole hardware. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So embedded system programming, what the points we have here is, a program is a set of instructions written in a specific sequence for a processor to accomplish a specific tasks. An instruction, so the first point what is saying, that what we have already discussed, that a program is a set of instructions written in a specific sequence or specific format for a processor to accomplish specified tasks. related to the specific system or specific processor or microcontroller, anything according to the design we need or use. The next point is, an instruction is defined as a complete task. Instruction is defined as a complete task such as addition, any different kind of operations performed by the microprocessor. Each microprocessor has its own set of instructions. That's a very important point. Okay, so to be intelligible to the microprocessor, instruction must be supplied in binary as machine language, because as you have already know, the set of instruction for different microprocessor is different, and the microprocessor or the hardware only understand the machine language. Next point, assembler language is a symbolic language. Now this is also a very important point, we have to understand it, that assembler language is a symbolic language which represents instruction with short human readable mnemonics. For example, in PIC assembler, a null operation or no operation is represented by the mnemonic nope. So suppose it basically, what it basically is trying to imply here is that suppose we have to perform addition operation for a specific, suppose we have two specific registers which are within the processor. Suppose the name of the register is R1 and the name of the another register is R2, and those two register contain two different data. Okay, so now if we have to perform an addition operation between those two data, we will use this specific mnemonic such as add space R1 comma R2. In this operation, depending upon the which kind of instruction set are being used, we so depending upon which kind of instruction set we are using, suppose we are using a register memory instruction set. So if we are using a register instruction set, what you have to do, we have to put all the data that has been extract or redirect from the memories. We have to put all those data into a different kind of specific registers. Then we have to perform the add operation. Now for to perform this adding operation or addition operation, what we have to imply, we have to use the mnemonics such as add space R1 comma R2. This specific instruction will provide us the operation where the data of the R1 and the data of the R2 will be added up, and they will the resultant amount or data will be stored into the register R2. So there are different kind of mnemonics that are being used in assembler language, such as sub for subtraction, mul mul for multiplication, div for division. We use load, store, and many different mnemonics are being used in assembler language. Okay, that's why it is known as a symbolic language. So basically these are the three steps way. This is three steps process. First, the high level language, where we provide us the specific software. We write the specific software using our hands, and we use our specific language that has been known for to everybody. And after that, we use a compiler which converts the high level language to assembler language. In assembler language, we basically that's what is known as symbolic language, and it uses different human readable mnemonics. So add, sub, these are readable mnemonics. And after that, we use the compiler or the assembler to convert the assembly language or into the machine language. And in machine language is basically nothing but the combination of zeros and ones. Okay, so the next point here. The next point is saying that an assembler is a software tool that converts the assembler source programs into the machine language object files. So this machine language object files is nothing but the combination of zeros and ones. The assembler's contain built-in debugging tools which can detect syntax errors. So there will be the debugging will occur in two different layers. In first layer, we use the debugging in we will perform the debugging operation in high level language, and the next step in assembler or in the assembly language, it already had its own or has its own debugging tools which will help built-in debugging tools which will help to debug or detect the syntax errors that could be occurred during the creation of the program. Okay, suppose for example such as MPLAB, or the MPLAB is a microchips PIC development environment which includes an assembler that generates assembled files, object files, with .hex extensions which are used to program PIC chips. Okay, so an assembler that generates assembled files with this named extension which are used to program PIC chips. Okay, these are the example. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so now what is the assembly language? We have already described that is a low level language. It works directly with the microprocessor. Each statement is almost exactly equivalent to one machine instruction. Embedded system depends on assembly language. It is the final product that produced by every compiler. That we have already discussed in a broad aspects, that how the compiler works. Okay, so yes, so let's go to the next page. What we have here is, and now there's also important why we use the assembly language. That's a very important part. We could, as we already know, that we use compiler which convert the high level language to a machine language. It also convert the high level language to assembly language. So why there is another layer of language we need to use to make those software functional. Okay, so the points are here is the makes you a better programmer. There are some situation when you will have no option except assembly language. Some high level programming language have expensive compilers. Also, when you're dealing with minimum resources and when you're dealing with speed of program execution, and also it's important part, when in case of assembly language we could speed up the program execution. Now depending upon the structure, depending upon the functionalities that has been, suppose we have to perform a very specific task. To perform that very specific task, what we have to do, we have to fetch data from the memory. We have to perform all the arithmetic operation in the processor, and after the resultant data we have to store all those resultant data in memory. These are the points, these are the specific points. Okay, now these are the specific points. Now to perform this specific operation we could use different kind of paths. We could take different kind of paths of process. Okay, so there is a very specific operation that is need to be complete. We need to complete all this operation. So to complete all this operation, what we could take different paths, we could take different ways. Now depending upon the ways that we took to perform this operation, it will reduce the execution time. So if the time of the execution of that specific operation is reduced, what it means? It means the speed of the program execution will be increased. So, and this specific particular task, the reducing the speed of the program, reducing the execution time of a program, we could achieve this specific goal by using design the whole operation using the machine assembly language. Okay, so that's why we use the assembly language, because there are possibilities, there are situations where we would not be able to provide the specific operation. We cannot perform the specific task or operation on our desirable level using the high level language, or with the help of C or C++, Java programming language. Okay, so for that very specific reason we have to put a faith on the assembly language, where this is the mid level language, but this specific assembly language can be very useful, or could use the word handy, that it could help us to understand and go through the different kind of path. We use different kind of path which will help us to reduce the execution time of the operation. Okay, so next point is only assembly language can talk directly with, and that's a very important point, that as we suppose there is a budget constant, we cannot use the heavy cost price compiler. So what we will do, we will take the thorough process where we already know the assembly language can directly talk to the hardware. So what we'll do, we will design all the processor, or we execute all the processor using the assembly language. Okay, so this can also be done. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Next one is from machine to high level language. Machine language binary instruction. All programs are converted into the machine language of a processor for execution. Next one, use the binary equivalent of the instruction. Next one is difficult to decipher and write and prone to cause many errors in writing. So it is tough to write a machine language, so that's why you use the assembly language to code, and we use the compiler and assembler to convert them into machine language. That we have already discussed all these pros and cons of machine language, high level language and assembly language. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Next one is assembly language. Machine instruction represented mnemonics has one-to-one corresponds with machine instruction. A program called assembler converts to machine code. We have already discussed it. Efficient in execution and use of memory. That's the important point. Machine specific and not easy to troubleshoot. Rather slow and inefficient for large and complex programs. That's why basically we use for if we use machine language or mid-level language, it will take much more time, but it also very much efficient for execution and use of memory, because it is easier to develop depending upon the movement of the data, depending upon the time it will take. We can design depending upon the function. Okay, so we can change the program that we write. We can write different language. We can write different process. We can write different code to reduce the execution time and smart use of memory. We can increase the smart use of memory using. It will be easier for mid-level language or assembly language. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Another one is in the case of high-level language such as Basic, C, C++. There are many high-level language right now. Written in statements of spoken language such as English. Machine independent, can be reused for other platforms. A program called compiler converts to machine code. Easy to write and troubleshoot. Requires large memory and less efficient execution. These are the a simple example of high-level language. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The compiler converts high-level language to assembly language. This is the code. Suppose this is the compiler. It converts it to assembly code. Okay, these are the adding. Okay, this is the add. This is the add operation. Compute partial result. This is multiplication. Okay, this is the str means store. Okay, and adr means getting the address from B, and it send the data from the B to the R4 register. Okay, and we load this value of R4 to the R0. Okay, so this is the specific assembly code that we use. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. This is the embedded system software development process. Okay, this is the source file, compiler object. This is the compiler object linker, and this is the compiler object. This is the compiler from file 2.0 is compiler. In file 1.0 is compiler. We get the object from using the compiler. Here we get the object using the assembler, and using the linker. What the linker do? Linker just add up all the object code. Okay, so after add up the all object code, we get the specific needed output, and we fed those output to the relocatable, and using that we can use the locator file. Then it converts into the hex extension file, and then the program target with programmer and program target running embedded program. Okay, so basically hex means the hexagonal file. Okay, the hexa file, that's why it is dot hex extension has been used for hex file. Is basically changed into the that specific language code. We use binary octal, so use the hexagonal coding system where we use all the data. We perform all the operation, and so we use the hex file here. Okay, through this specific algorithm, we patch. We can use different kind of word. We burn the embedded system or the hardware using the software. So the whole logic has been set into the specific hardware. So depending upon that, we can perform all the operation using the hardware. Okay, after we burn all the software into the hardware. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. This is the specific development process that we use. We have already discussed all that, how the linker works, how the locator works, how from the locator we get the hex extension file. That hex extension file fed into the program target with programmer, and then the program target is means to burn it into the hardware. So according to the logic, the hardware will run according to the logic, logic that has been written in the programming part. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is the assembly code, this is the assembler, this is the object code, and this is the C code, and using the C code. So using C code we also get object code, and using assembly code, after using the assembler we can also get the object code. We have already discussed all this. Is the specific, you'd say, the flow diagram of that we have described in the previous slides. So let's go to the next slide. So this is the program development process. How the program development: first write the source code using the assembler compiler. Okay, we convert it into the low level language, means in machine language. Then we simulate. If available, if the simulator is available, what we do? We simulate. Now if there is any kind of mismatch or the specific important requirements are not met, we again write the source code. We again do the same process. So until and unless the whole source code are being properly executed or properly designed sorry, properly designed, we don't move further. So after we achieve the proper source code, the simulation is properly validated, we download all the files, we download all the files and burn it to the hardware, and we test it again. So we test our hardware. So we have already discussed all this process, all the steps that we needed to take. We needed to take to using the embedded system. Okay, the revision of the embedded programming is what? Key points in embedded programming are code speed, timing constraints, this is important, limited processing speeds, that is also important. Your microcontroller is not 2.5 gigahertz processor. That is also important, because you have to know that your microcontroller is not a 2.5 gigahertz processor. The PCs basically possess this kind of facilities or features. Code size, and you also have a limited memory, so you have to limit it. We have to create a smart programming code. Okay, next one is the programming methods: machine code, a low level language, a high level language. Why use C is embedded programming? Fairly efficient, supports access to input output, ease of management of large embedded projects. Why use assembly? High speed, low code size, however difficult to do a large project in assembly. We have already discussed all these pros and cons of why we use high level language, why we use assembly language, and why we use machine language. What is the process, what is the parameters, what is the, why you use simulators, why we use linkers, loaders. Okay, why we use different kind of development tools. So let's go. Okay, so now we will talk about C and C++ for embedded system. So as we introduced, now we will go through the introduction part here today. So C is a general purpose programming language. The first part, C is a high level language that has the advantage of readability, maintainability, and portability and reusability, because it's a platform independent language. So it is portable, it is maintainable, and it is reusable. It's also readable because we use the English language, that is a very common language for in any part of world. So use the advantage of readability, maintainability, and portability and reusability are being available for C as a high level language. Next one, C is a very efficient language that allows you to get control of computer hardware and peripherals. C is a small language that you can learn easily in a relatively short time. That's a very important aspect. The ANSI, the standard for C, is a standard supported by all C compiler vendors to guarantee the portability of C. Another, the well structured language, main function calls many other functions. C language is the common language used in microcontrollers, embedded system, and other hardware applications. Finally, Unix operating system is written with C language. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. C++ for embedded system of higher level language. C++ is the closest to assembly languages. Bit manipulation instruction and pointers, indirect addressing are important features. Okay, most microcontrollers have available C++ compilers. Believe it or not, it is just ordinary C++ with little additions. Basically, as we have most microcontrollers have available C++ compilers, it is easier to use C++ for embedded system. So in the next lecture we are going to discuss broadly about the C and C++ language, how it works, what kind of notation we use, what kind of syntax we use, what is syntax error, what is the executables errors. Okay, so up to that we'll conclude our lecture here. Okay, thank you.